The Denver Nuggets, spearheaded by Nikola Jokic, Jokic sling a spear into the Wolfpack. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Masterful performance. You know what I'm saying? Bully ball, float game, dribble drive game, screen game. Still making these guys crash out. You know what I'm saying? Don DeMarco Murray showed up to play in the first half. Didn't have to show up in the second half. Scored. Didn't do too good or whatever, but he didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Aaron Gordon. After shooting over 70% from the three, looks over at us over here with these mega facts and says, "Hold this beer for me," while I shoot 90+% from the field. Man, missed his first shot like towards the end of the game. Oh man, listen, man, we sitting over here thinking that you know those dunker spot dunks, those wide open. How could you lead? How could you forget about Aaron open dunkers spot dunks and things like that? We thought that was going to be taken care of because of the size discrepancy that that the Minnesota Timberwolves bring and everything. But the attrition um, from watching you know Don DeMarco Murray and Yoke and you know Aaron Gordon even shoot these threes and make them at a high clip makes you, just like the Lakers did, makes you so scared of having these guys hit these open 3 points, not even open, but just these 3 point shots that you forget to look behind you. And here comes, Aaron Gordon at the dunker spot. You thinking he's gonna be at the, you worrying about him being at the 3 point line because of what he did last game. No, he's behind you, man. Shout out to Aaron Gordon, shining light on offense and defense. Listen, man. He Cat Town absolutely obliterated, clamped down by Aaron Gordon. And the thing is, man, I forgot which game it was. It was the game one. I think it was game one. Um, Cat Town almost got punked, man, by Aaron Gordon, but he fought back. He was allowed to fight back. You know what I'm saying? Cat Town threw a little chicken wing. You know what I'm saying? In Aaron Gordon's way or whatever, and gets called for the foul. He wasn't allowed by the refs to fight back like he was in the first two games. You know what I'm saying? I wonder why. Listen, man, we said in the last one, if you are not allowed to bump and move Yoke specifically, as well as Don DeMarco Murray off of their spots and things of that nature, you're not going to beat them, because if they have just freedom, all of the freedom of movement that was allowed in two and three versus, the physicality on defense that was allowed in games one and two, it stifles and stymies the Minnesota Timberwolves offense and of course their defense. You know what I'm saying? Um, Cat Town and Nas Reed, you know, a big reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves had so much success on Yoke in the first two games was because of the full court pressure that they was putting on him, And the refs didn't call every time Yoke ran into Nas Reed or Cat Town. Every time they get the slightest bump and Yoke flinched in games one and two when he was coming up the court, they didn't call it, but they've been calling it specifically in games two and three for um you know in the favor of Yoke and Don DeMarco Murray. And listen, man, you can see the difference. You see Jaden McDaniels, with the fake full court pressure on Don DeMarco Murray and things of that nature, but it's fake. It's not real. They're not really, they can't put real pressure on them. You can stay around them in their vicinity, but it's like a bubble. It's not like a wall of defense. It's more like a bubble. You have to stay away from them. You can get in front, but you have to stay away. No contact necessary. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna allow Yoke to push around everybody in sight and not allow him to get pushed around, well then there goes too much of a discrepancy for you to stop the Denver Nuggets because it depends on Yoke and his ability to get to his spots and things of that nature. It depends on Don DeMarco Murray and his ability to get to his spots, which allows everybody else to be where they're supposed to be. And if you can't touch these two players um in a way that disrupts their game, that you're gonna be hard. But you better be some type of an all-time offense to, be able to battle back with these guys, or it's just not gonna happen, man. Um, you know, uh, Rudy Gobert looking like a liability out there again in the playoffs. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just, shout out to Yogurt. He did his, he tried. Listen, man. Are you gonna do better? Are you gonna get better on the offensive end as far as being able to keep the ball in your hands when you're more than a foot away from the basket? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. AE, shout out to AE, man. He did his thing. Listen, man, we believe AE needs to get his stamina up. We believe that there's too many plays within these games that AE is going without touching the ball. We understand that he's not the most exquisite playmaker, but that don't care. Too many plays where AE is you know tired as hell. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. We understand he putting it down on offense and defense or whatever, but it's not like he's the main defender on the Wolves. You know what I'm saying? We believe he needs to get his stamina up. Shout out to AE, the only guy that came to play in the game. It's crazy, man. Nikhil Alexander Walker, Nas Reed didn't get as many minutes. What's happening? What's going on? You got to do something about that, buddy. What's your name? Finkles, whatever. Your boy, man. You got to do something about that. Ain't no Nas Reed for only 16 minutes, buddy. That can't work. The boy got too much athleticism, too much of the dribble drive and shoot game for you to only play him 16 minutes. That shit is dead. All right, come on, man. Shout out to Yoke. Listen, man. You know, it just is what it is. I mean, look, bruh. If you're gonna let this guy get into his game, and you're not going to you're gonna make sure people um are not allowed to not to make Yoke not get into his game, you're not gonna win, man. You're not beating the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? If you're not allowed to be physical out there on that court, you know what I'm saying? And it starts with, the bumps and the moves and things of that nature. Shout out to the Nuggets. You know, can the Wolves come back from this? I believe. I mean, listen, if if you're not allowing physicality, it's not they're not capable of winning. They're only capable of winning when they're allowed to be physical. That's what it's seeming like. You know what I'm saying? We'll see.